Natural Disaster Survival is one of the most lasting games on Roblox, having been around for more than a decade at the top of the Roblox front page. Even though the game is rarely updated today, it evolved a lot from its beginnings, as, at first, it was two different games, before becoming the game we all know and love. This, for example, was Natural Disaster Survival in 2010. Yeah, I know, that's pretty weird, but I'll explain it in the video. Today we are going to do a deep dive into the history of natural disaster survival. You first need to go back to the person who made the game, Stickmaster Luke. Stickmaster Luke, also known as Luke Weber, is a Roblox employee and also a former game developer, known for creating both Natural Disaster Survival, The Underground War, which is another very popular old Roblox game. Stickmaster Luke joined Roblox on October 23, 2007 as the 80,254th user. He was a very active member of the now defunct Roblox forums and would often seek help on learning how to script on there. This is how Stickmaster Luke's avatar looked like in 2007, and this is how it looks like now. On the 29th of March 2008, he created a game that is now known as Natural Disaster Survival, but back then it was called Wizard Wars Teams Start at Level 10. Sadly, I wasn't able to find any footage of this version of the game, and its lifespan was also pretty short, as back then people were only allowed to have a single place on their account. Therefore, completely changing your game was a pretty common occurrence, and this game would obviously get changed too. Around November 2008, Wizard Wars team would change to Medieval Clash, a sword fighting game where two different teams, red and blue, fought each other in multiple rounds. Medieval Clash came to some success as it gained a whopping 200,000 visits, which was quite a lot for 2008 standards. For example, there are a few videos on YouTube featuring the game, and one of them shows an almost full server, which again is quite a lot for 2009 standards. Around October 2008, Stickmaster Luke released a remake of the game under the name of Medieval Clash Perfected. This game added different classes such as swordsman and bowman, and also a more complex map, featuring two castles. The game is still somewhat playable today, although it's abandoned, not being updated since 2013. Somewhere around 2011, Medieval Clash was renamed to Disaster Testing, and a few months later it was officially released as Natural Disaster Survival, featuring 8 maps and 6 disasters you had to survive. The game was actually incredibly similar back then to today's version we all know. Only a few features such as the multi-disaster machine and the game pass is missing. The maps back then were Happy Home, Sky Tower, Trailer Park, Fort Indestructible, Glass Office, Surf Central, Rake's Refinery, and Sunny Ranch. A few weeks after the game was released, 2 more maps were added, these being Arch Park and Raving Raceway. The game would be almost abandoned for the next 2 years, yet would still gain a lot of traction, even with the lack of updates. By 2014 it had already amassed 40 million visits, and would be one of the recurring front page Roblox games. Probably because of this, Stickmaster Luke decided to update the game, adding 5 new disasters, this being Volcano, Earthquake, Eruption, Sandstorm, and Blizzard. And he also added a server-wide leaderboard that displays wins and the coastal quick stop map. In 2014, a few events also took place on the game, such as the June cross-season intrusion, when an ex-player managed to put inappropriate images of a woman in the middle of every server, which I obviously can't show on YouTube. Not the only time that it happened that year, as the game was exploited a lot. Fun fact, also in 2014, Stickmaster Luke attempted to create a revamped version of Natural Disaster Survival called the Disaster Games. This game added a few different features to the main core of Natural Disaster Survival, such as the players having limited lives, players being able to trip and push each other, and also them being forced to use in-game customization instead of their own avatars. This game didn't really go anywhere as it hasn't been updated in 9 years and only has 400,000 visits. You can still play it today. I will leave the link in the description if you want to check it out. I will warn you that it's completely dead. After these updates, the game was again left untouched for the next 2 years, when it totally blew up, reaching 100 million visits, 200 average concurrent plays, and YouTube videos with millions, even tens of millions of videos being made on it. FGTV's video having 62 million visits. What? From 2016 to 2018, there were no major updates again, except for map added in December 2016. In early 2018, Natural Disaster Survival reached the mark of 500 million visits. Also that year, the Launchland map was added, which features a rocket that players can get into and on paper fly away from the map and survive, but that doesn't really happen often. That year, the Prison Panic map and the Safety Second map were also added, and also the little guy from the start of every map was removed. I miss him. A year later, Natural Disaster Survival partaked in the 2019 Egg Hunt, where players could obtain the Rocket Escape Egg by successfully escaping the map in the rocket from the Launchland map, which, as I said earlier, didn't happen very often. In 2020, due to people being inside because of the pandemic, the game managed to reach 1 billion visits. Also this year, 3 new maps were added: Modest Headquarters and Rainbow Ride. In 2020, they also added the Deadly Virus Disaster, where players could spread a virus around the map, killing all people. And obviously, this update met a lot of controversy, so much so that eventually it was entirely removed by Stickmaster from the game. Now, the next major update happened quite recently, in September of last year. In this update, the UI was massively overhauled by changing its fonts and making it more colorful. Also, a new map was added, Factory Frenzy. And well, here we are now today. The game always being on top of the front page, even reaching 18,000 confident players at the top hours, which is actually insane for a game this old and barely even changed from its original form. Natural Disaster Survival and Workshop Pizza Place are definitely both the most lasting games on Roblox. And by the way, I also made a video on the history of Forgotten Pizza Place. You can check it out. And this is the end of the video. And now I want to go into why I haven't posted in literally a year. Basically, I got burnt out. I was making as many videos as I could, even though I wasn't even consistent back then either, which also while also maintaining a good situation in school, and that was draining. I stopped enjoying making videos, and that is why I went on this long hiatus. I do not promise I will be as consistent as I was before, but I will post at least once this year, I promise. And this concludes my short explanation. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you enjoyed, as always, smash that like button, and yeah, that's it.